Hey guys, what's up? Cardfight here, and today I'm here with the meta update analysis video. So this is obviously, it only applies for the Japanese game. It might apply for the English game, but I'm not going to say it's going to apply because I don't play the English game, so I wouldn't know the environment in there so far. But, you know, if you guys want are no, curious about the Japanese game, then feel free to watch this video. So this information is gathered from Japanese websites as well as uh, you know, Hong Kong locals in my area. So if you're playing in Singapore or Malaysia or other Asian countries, then I don't have information from where you're from. But if you feel like sharing, you can comment down below and tell us how your meta is like in your country. So let's look at the top decks right now. From what I'm seeing at least, I've seen these are the main decks that I've seen. Well, these are the main decks I'm seeing, and these are like the decks that these are you see quite a bit too. This one I saw a lot last month, but not as much this month, but it's still up there somewhere. So I'll explain why I think these clans are topping and explain a bit about them. So Gear Chronicles topping obviously because they have a very strong keyword, Time Leap, and the clan itself, it has pretty much everything. Um, you can toolbox for cards. You can have multi attacks with Time Leap. Toolboxing with you can also toolbox with Time Leap, but you can toolbox with a Melum and Upstream Dragon. Those guys will stay, I guess, but then you're just gonna probably Time Leap them. Um, you have restanding, pseudo restand, I guess, with next stage. You have guard restrict with they have a lot of guard restrict cards, and you have the very strong Metallica Phoenix combo, which is still pretty strong. I've been talking with some of our friends, and they've been talking still saying how the TikTok hit didn't really affect the deck that much. I mean, it did affect the deck, but it's not as detrimental as people hoped it would be. And a lot of people don't really like Gear Chronicle now because of all the support they're getting. I mean, I think they've been getting support like 5 sets in a row or something, which is kind of ridiculous. Is it 5 sets? Maybe less than that. Actually, wait. For main boosters, at least. Actually, I'm not even gonna count, but they've been getting a lot of support with their own clan booster, and they have the character booster coming up soon, and they have support for all the in all the booster sets, like the big booster sets. So yeah, they've been getting a lot of support. So it's kind of not surprising that they're topping. Next, we have Genesis. So the deck is topping because of the very strong stand trigger. Actually, I should be. This card should be replaced with the stand trigger. But yeah, the deck. A lot of the decks you see will run Taro. There are some turbo decks that focus on the loop, and there are decks that don't focus on the loop. Honestly, though, even without the loop, the deck is still really strong. So yeah, but if you play the loop, I guess it just makes it scarier, I guess. But then if you're playing against a control deck, the loop deck isn't as good. So that's why you see both. Loop is very strong, but against control decks, not so strong. Also with your Chronicle, they have the new the G Guardian now that acts sort of like a Denial Griffin, except not. But anyway, so Taro, the Taro Turbo, and there's just plain old Fenrir, Fenrir Genesis that also runs Taro. So I believe for those decks you can loop if you want, but it doesn't focus on the loop, so it still has the option to loop your opponent if you're able to, which is pretty good. Yeah, so that's for Genesis. Angel Feather, rescue mechanics still pretty strong. Healing yourself is pretty strong. With the Refros banned, I guess it's or restricted, I guess. Not banned. You can't loop that anymore, so the deck is a bit more healthy. So you don't see this deck as much as you did before. But the deck still runs. The grade 3s they run for the deck is still no seal and Gabriel. So yeah, but yeah, I really like the rescue engine for Angels. So if I were to play competitively, I would probably play um, Angel Feather for me personally, because I haven't had much time to play in tournaments recently because of, again, as I mentioned before my previous videos, I have lots of work and school and stuff. So I'd rather focus on that first. Maybe if I'm working again, I'll go back into tournaments. But for now, haven't had any plans. But I do have friends that are playing in tournaments, so they keep me updated with what they see in locals in Hong Kong. So next we have Sentry Guard, which is still relevant because they have very strong re-standers. Well, a re-standing engine with the blaster blade, and comboed with Regali, you can have very decent attacks. So yeah, they also have very good pluses and field building with the Menon plus and the Soul Blast 1 draw 1. So you can plus a lot in this deck, and it hits like a truck. So it's still up here. Obviously, you don't see these as much now because a lot of people would rather play Gear Chronicle, thanks to them having pretty much everything. But some people who hate playing Gear Chronicle just play, these decks. Grand Blue is the other deck that I've seen a lot lately. Grand Blue, at least from what I see, there's like almost an equal amount of Grand Blue and Gear Chronicles topping, which is really interesting. Actually, it's kind of reasonable because Grand Blue has a very strong toolbox. It's stronger than the Gear Chronicle toolbox, since you just put everything in the drop zone and then you can pretty much call whatever you want at the time that you need it. It's not only your Night Rose that's topping though. Seven Seas is also topping, so keep that in mind. But yeah, they have a very strong toolbox. They also have multi-attack. Pretty decent multi-attacks. The grade 2 Negro Rook is still pretty good. So yeah, Grand Blue is topping a lot. I like Grand Blue personally, but I probably wouldn't play it in a tournament, me personally. But yeah, Grand Blue topping, and then we have these other decks here that they're topping because they're sort of the anti-meta. I guess these are the anti-meta. Link Joker itself, it's just really strong, obviously. Link Joker has always been a pretty strong clan. Most of the decks I've seen Link Joker's play is the Star Vader, Chaos Universe mixed with a little bit of Messiah. They don't run a lot of Messiah. They run like one Alter Ego Messiah in their builds, from what I see. But yeah, most of them run four Chaos Breakers and then Chaos Universe. You know the drill. And yeah, so obviously, lots good pluses. Locking your opponent is pretty strong, and then yeah, Big Crunch is still pretty good. Locks a column. It prevents a lot of people from doing things. Like a lot of these decks, if you lock one of their columns, they lose a lot of their attacking power. So yep, especially if you Omega Lock. If you're playing Messiah and you Omega Lock them, like keep Omega Locking them, then obviously your opponent doesn't have much they can do. Kagero. It's an interesting deck. They went from being super meta to being sort of anti-meta. I know a lot of people who played this deck only because there's so many of these out here. Like they want Denial Griffin. For example, if Denial Griffin have a Broken Heart, then Ingram player's like, oops. Denial Griffin a Blaster Blade for Regali, then it's like, whoops. Denial a Melum, whoops. Or something. I don't know. If they're doing a Melum trying to do a Melancholy, just Denial Griffin it. If they have Night Rose, Denial Griffin, whatever they have planned. Sometimes it might backfire on you though. So, yeah. And then, I guess Denial Griffin is not as good against Night Rose as it is some other decks, but if they pump that unit, it's still pretty good. Denial Griffin's just a really solid card. That's why I'm putting them as, the card I'm representing Kagero for now. And obviously, Denial Griffin, the friggin' Wiseman for Taro Loop, then obviously they can't loop anymore. So Kagero, Denial Griffin's a good card. But besides that, they also have a lot of field control and restanders for the ace. Kagero Overlord is still a pretty solid deck, so they can pretty much keep up with these cards. But the thing with Kagero is they don't generate as much advantage as these decks, and Kagero also doesn't have multi attacks. You have a standing Vanguard, but that's about it. So what's mainly keeps them afloat is their field control and the Denial Griffin. Denial Griffin is just a really solid card. It's really annoying to deal with for your opponent, and even if you can think of ways to play around it, but then if they're going to Denial Griffin you, they're going to Denial Griffin you. So no matter what, you're going to lose an extra attack from one of your regards. And Mega Colony. Last month there was a lot. This month I only see like a few. But I can see why people like to play Mega Colony. The GR is really solid, so it stops a lot of plays from your opponent, like Gear Chronicle. Stops their time leak plays there. Night Rose, it stops their play. If you pop one of these, it stops their play for that next turn. Same goes for freaking Sentry Guard. And even for Angel Feather, it stops that too. So Mega Colony, the GR is good, but in my opinion, the rest of the deck is not as good. It's kind of hard to explain, but this card is good, but then its cost is pretty heavy. It kind of wants too. So if you can't finish your opponent on the turns that you do use this guy, then it's going to be pretty hard for you to come back, because it does cost a lot of resources to use this card. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say for this video. Sorry if I don't sound well today. I'm actually a little sick, just a little. If you can't hear my clogged up nose. And there's no deck profile this week because I was gonna do my Token Rambu deck and my Chrono Fang deck, but then actually my friend had helped me get a bunch of cards I needed, and I'm gonna see him probably tomorrow or sometime this week. So until I get those cards, then I'm not gonna do my deck profile. But you'll be probably seeing my deck profile on the weekend. For either Fang or Token Rambu, maybe both, depending on how I feel, and it depends on how much of the assignment I've finished. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Kartaku, and I'll see you guys later. Oh, by the way, just because if you think a clan is meta that's not up here, it's not because I don't think they're meta. It's probably because I overlooked it. There's been a lot of other really random clans, like Nova Grappler and stuff that topped, but it's only like 1 or 2 for the Japanese game at least. Same with Bermuda, so I forgot to put it up because I don't think because topping 1 or 2 times is not statistically significant enough to put them on here. But it's my opinion. I can have my opinion, right, guys? So yeah, this is Card Haku, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!